Hi guys, I got a little box that is especially for the radishes. Made that from leftover wood, and I got wood chips in there, but I'm also going to put newspaper underneath it before I put soil in there. So that's to keep out the weed as long as possible. Okay, so hopefully to get that through that season so the weed doesn't come up. When it's windy, I do put water on there so that won't move anymore. And then make sure that that's into the corners, into the sides. And next, we're going to put the soil in there. And it probably takes a lot more soil than this, but beggars can be choosers. Right now I only have money for one bag. So this is 20 liters of soil, and in a couple of days we'll add another layer on there, or after the first radishes are done. And sometimes you have big chunks in there. And you just gotta loosen that up. Yeah, it definitely needs another bag. But not right now. For now it will be enough. And radishes like the soil to be loose. So make sure you get the chunks out. And they also need a lot of space. Yeah, we'll be adding another layer later on. This is enough soil for radishes for now. Okay, get the soil. Level it out. And I have two mini utilities for this. And that's kind of easy, but you can use a regular spoon. And these are my own radishes, but some are big seeds and some are small seeds. So I want to put something to the test, okay? I want to make two rows, one with big seeds and one with small seeds. We're going to go in and just kind of move that over a little bit. What's that rock doing in there? Oh, it's not a chunk. And this is just regular potting soil. And these are my own seeds, so I'm going to go pick them out. I'm going to put the big ones in there first. And you need to space them out about 5 centimeters apart because they take up a lot of room. And some people just throw them in there and weed them out later, you know, like when they're too close together. They'll pull one or two out. I'm not going to do that. So these are the big seeds on this side. I'm going to cover that up and try not to disturb that. Just kind of put that soil back that you shoved aside. Okay, I'm going to make another row. And I'm going to put my smaller seeds in there. And I want to see if there's any difference in growth between small seeds and big seeds. So this is a really small one. Put that in there. Here's another really small one. And here's a thin one. Oh. And here's a small one. Here's also a very thin one. So putting that soil back on there. Oh, no chunks. And these I'm just gonna mix up. I'm gonna do 2 more rows. Get any chunks out of the way. I'm gonna put them. If there's 2 coming up, then I'm just gonna go and take them out. So I had the big ones first, thin ones next, and one last row. So we got 4 rows of radishes. Oops. When you hurry, then sometimes you drop in 2. Oh well. Now we're gonna water this up, and we'll see what happens. I put this box down right next to my lavender because my lavender is starting to bloom and the bees will be in there real soon. I'm gonna take the biggest radish that comes out of this one and I'm gonna leave it in there and I'm gonna let it bloom and get my radishes seeds from that plant next year. So I got plenty of radishes from one plant. You really don't need to make more. You really don't have to let more grow. One is more than enough. And these seeds are also good next year. So, but yeah, fresh seeds is always the best. You know, every year, new seeds. So, let's water them. And radishes need a lot of water, so if it's not raining, make sure that it's wet. Now the soil is already, the potting soil is already moist, so I'm not going to overdo it. But make sure that your radishes get a lot of water, because that's basically the flavor that is in the radish. It's basically all water with flavor, so you gotta make sure that that's really wet. Update on the radishes. These were the big seeds, and these were the tiny seeds. Now, as you can see, the tiny seeds are a little behind in their growth. Now, these, of course, will be radishes. I just don't know how big they will grow, but we'll see that later when the radishes actually grow and how long behind these will be and if they'll be even the same size as the radishes in this row. When you let the radish shoot through, you're gonna get a plant with flowers, just like this. And if you're lucky, a little bee or maybe a fly will come by and pollinate it. You know, you got special little flies that pollinate them. Hover flies, I think they're called. If your radish flower is pollinated, it will look like this pea pot right here. If it's not pollinated, it will fall off like this. So nobody's been eating them, guys. However, if you let this grow without making sure it goes up and it will be able to hold upwards, they're gonna fall on the ground. And on the ground I have snails, and snails love these radish pods. Now a lot of people love them too. They just break them off and eat them, but they're kind of small still. It's a beautiful plant, by the way. This one's got pink leaves. They're turning a little white here now, but this one is still pink. So it's very pretty. Hi guys, it is June 28th and my radishes are really growing, and I think I'm going to pick one. There we go. This is the first radish that I actually can pick. There are several more growing and they're getting pretty big, but I also have one little problem. I've got all kinds of holes in my leaves, so something is nibbling in there. This has actually gotten eaten away, so I gotta find the snails tonight. And what's worse, you can see they're also nibbling on my radishes, so I'm not too happy about that. But I think it will be okay. I'll put some snail poison in there tonight, and I hope I can catch them, and we'll see what happens. Although I'm not really sure what makes the holes in there, because snails normally nibble from the side, like they eat the leaves, so not really sure what's happening there. Here you can see the other problem, nibbling at my seeds. Not too happy about that one either, but that's snails. I'm pretty sure about that one, because I already busted some of them last year in there. But this is just one to show you how it's growing. As you can see, these aren't pollinated. Right here, broke off, that one broke off. These have been pollinated, so that's definitely things you can bump into. People actually eat these pods also, and they pickle them, and I've seen some people eating them raw. They feel they're very good when they're like this, but I tried them. I didn't like them very much. I'd rather save them for radish planting next year. As for my row of small seeds from the radishes, they are growing. They're taking a lot longer though, but they are coming. They might not be as big as the other radishes, but that's okay. Wanted to show you one more thing. These radishes, they're actually white inside, okay? When you buy them in the store, they're kind of see-through. When you cut them open, that's because they water them, they overwater them and get them to grow fast. But if you have a little patience, you'll have some radishes the way your grandma used to eat them, and that's the way God meant them to be, I guess. And now they're going to be devoured on my cheese, cucumber, lettuce sandwich. Well, it's time to go check which is the biggest radish. This row were the small radishes. These one I already ate. I ate several here, and I got several back in there. And I think this one on the side might have the biggest radish, but I'm not sure. So, you know, I might be surprised at how big this little seed, how big this radish grew. I'm going to carefully remove the soil to see how big the radishes are, and then I'm going to leave either this one, that one, or that one in the pot for it to grow flowers. And I got one of these to protect it from further damage by snails. I've been trying to catch the snails, but they haven't been out early enough, and I got night shift, so I'm gone all night, so I can't really catch them when I'm at work. So let's see. You also want to make sure that whatever radish you get is undamaged, so it's not eaten by the snails. Like I showed you before, that some of them have been eaten. I've been covering my radishes like this, and if you're going to let it grow, then you'll have to do that, because you don't want the radish to be exposed to the sun. So even if you let it grow into a plant, you don't want to have it exposed. So I'm just going to check now which one is the biggest radish. And that one's going to stay. Oh, that one's pretty big too. You might be surprised what those little seeds did. That's looking good. Taking that one out. It's gonna be eaten. Yeah, I think they're about pretty much all the same size, but I think this one is the biggest. So, taking that out. Oh, that's pretty big too. Look at that. I think it's too much to the side. Oh well. It's gonna grow into the blackberry plant. So I'm gonna take this out. Look at that, nice and big. Take that one. What does that look like? Oh, that's not too big. That's okay. Take that one out. See, those small seeds still made radishes. So taking that one out. And this one is going to stay. I'll put that one around it. Take some of the leaves out so that the snails can crawl on from the dirt. And now I'm just going to soil up on the sides and add some new radishes around it. Now when your plant grows big, you will need to support it. I start with a stick, and then later I just take some wool to tie all the plants together so they don't lay on the ground where they are easy access for the snails. And then you just, when the plant dies, or when you think that's enough now, you just pull it out and let it dry. Put it in a plastic bag and just hang it somewhere, or just put it in a dark spot. I put mine in a plastic bag in the garage and I just let it dry there for the whole year. This is what my radish looked like. This is how big it got from that one plant that you saw in the previous pictures. You can't eat it anymore, obviously. It's all hollow on the inside. There's worms in there, there's goo in there. It's really gross. And it smelled too. So, but you gotta cut it off before you dry the rest of your plant, so make sure you do that so that your plant won't be rotting instead of drying seeds. Next season, your radish pots will be all dried out. So, and now we're gonna collect the radishes, which is very simple. You just open that up and see if there's a pot in there. I got 2. And these will go in a Ziploc bags to be planted next year around March in the greenhouse and in April outside until up to September and maybe October. I will try one more time inside the greenhouse to see if I can still get some radishes. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you will enjoy growing radishes.